Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the August version of the Johnston County Planning Board meeting. As is our custom, we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll ask Ms. Howard to lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is the approval of the minutes from the July 16th Planning Board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Ms. Howard, a second by Ms. Davis. I will make one comment relative to the minutes. I did go back and particularly review the minutes for the Ricky Norris track, and I noticed at the end, and this may come into play in a written decision as well, I think the minutes accurately capture the motion, which was to provide the drainage easements along the property lines and that the existing drainage pipe be repaired. That was the motion. That is accurate in what's in the minutes. I do think it's important to note that as part of our discussion at that, repair of that pipe may mean replace, just depending on the condition of that pipe. So just wanted to make that note for staff when they're reviewing it and doing the technical review of that that pipe may actually need to be replaced, but as it is written in the minutes and it reflects as it was stated in the motion. So with that, all those in favor of approving the minutes say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Next on our agendas are subdivisions. Just a brief comment about subdivisions. The vast majority of land in Johnston County is zoned agricultural residential, which means by right you can build houses on it or you can farm it. So it is not the purview of this board to determine whether a subdivision is appropriate for any given parcel, solely that it meets our codes and ordinances. So if you are giving testimony relative to a subdivision, whether you're in favor of, against, or just have questions, given that we are the final approval body of the 4 subdivisions, I am going to need you to be sworn. So if you're going to give any testimony or comments relative to a subdivision, I need you to stand and raise your right hand, please. Do you affirm that the information you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and this is your solid affirmation?
I do.
All right, thank you. First on our agenda tonight is Selma Residential.
Yes, sir. Owner is Jeannie and Scott Penny. Developers Brad Gordon. Surveyors Austin Jackson with Kimley Horn. Its location is 752 Old Moore Road in the O'Neills Township, served by Northside Fire District and THS Rescue Squad. It's 24.99 acres total, 22 lots proposed. Johnston County Public Water, individual septic. Traffic count for Old Moore Road was 500 vehicles per day. That was in 2019 at last count. This portion of Old Moore Road does not appear on the comprehensive transportation plan as needing improvement. This parcel is not within an environmentally sensitive area. However, a floodplain appears on a small portion of the parcel.
All right. Any questions of staff? Thank you, sir. Who'd like to be heard on behalf of Selma Residential? If you are going to speak tonight, we would ask that you give your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, board. My name is Austin Jackson. I'm a professional engineer with Kimley Horn. One correction, not the surveyor of the parcel, but the civil engineer of record. I think staff adequately summarized our proposed subdivision, and just here with to provide additional clarifications and answer any questions that y'all might have. Thank you.
Any questions of the gentleman?
I had a question. For the lots that are like at the end of the cul-de-sac, I guess it was 13 through 18, for them to all, I'm guessing that was for the reason for septic, is so that there's plenty of room for the
That's
septic.
correct.
Okay.
Yes, we've had percolation tests done on
Okay.
a majority of the land. And you'll see on the existing contours as well that the cul-de-sac is situated at a high point, and all the good soils surrounding that. So
Okay.
in order to get septic, we had to do some land hooks back around to the back.
Okay. That's what I figured. I was just making sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions?
Is there anywhere where you got mailboxes on these plans?
Not currently. These are just lot subdivisions, and the mailboxes would come at individual lot plans.
Understood.
Are you going to have a CBU?
Yes.
Let's say that. I think the answer to that's yes. So do you have an idea of where you might locate a CBU?
I think we would like to do it up at the driveway at Old Moore Road. We haven't finished grading plans of that area just yet, and enough pull-off for the mail location.
All right. Yeah, just make sure you leave enough room there. DOT will help dictate that as well.
Yeah, we've been working with DOT to ensure that we've got adequate stem as, from the entrance, if it's placed at near the entrance.
Others? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to be heard as it relates to Selma Residential? Yes, sir. Give us your name and address, please.
Brian Brandon, 650 Old Moore Road. I have a question about the lot configuration, the way it's drawn out, the poor soil areas. My well is only 50 feet from the proposed line, approximately somewhere between lot 9 and 10. It's all downhill from the road all the way to my house. With an additional 10 septic systems flowing underground, is that going to affect my well?
Environmental health handles the permitting of any septic systems if, again, if this board, we just give preliminary approval. So that will go through the environmental health department in terms of the siting of those septic systems so that they do not interfere with the well. There are setback requirements. I think it's 100 feet?
100 feet on good soil,
Yeah, 100 feet on good
further on
soil.
bad soil.
So that'll be within their purview. I'm not sure if staff has any other comments about that.
The separation distance between well and septics may have changed. I know there was some legislation that was
Yeah.
approved or ratified in the last year or two, so that may have changed, but the old standard was 100 feet.
Yeah. That's the most that I know about septic systems anyway.
Just wondering, if they build a house and septic system's going to be real close.
Sure.
If they're building houses, are they putting trailers or building houses?
This would be a single-family subdivision.
Single family, okay.
Yes, sir.
I heard earlier about the road. Don't drive down into 55 if you don't want to die.
Therefore,
That's all I got to say.
thanks, sir. Any questions of the gentleman? Thanks, sir. Anyone else like to be heard as it relates to Selma Residential? All right, bring it back to staff.
Staff recommendations, preliminary approval subject to the conditions and requirements in the staff report.
I'd just like to make a note of the enrollment numbers, particularly with Corinth Holders High School, of the enrollment numbers and the capacity.
All right, I'll entertain a motion when you're ready.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Mr. Sasser, a second by Mr. Crenshaw. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, next on our agenda is Parish Memorial Road tract.
Yes, sir. Owner is Linda V. Lassiter Family Estate Trust. Developers RRT Development. Surveyor engineer is Stocks Engineering. Its location is Parish Memorial Road between Batten Farm Road and Cardinal Country Club Road in the Micro Township, served by Micro Fire and North Johnston Rescue. It's 38.94 acres, 35 lots proposed. Johnston County Public Water individual septic. Traffic count's not available. This portion, for any of the roads that wasn't available, this portion of Parish Memorial Road does not appear on the comprehensive transportation plan as needing improvement. Reverse frontage lots or buffers are required for lots backing up to Cardinal Country Club Road. Direct driveway access on Batten Farm Road. Major subdivisions to be located on a local road shall be so designed that there shall be no more than one direct residential driveway connection per 500 feet along the same side of the local road unless it can be demonstrated that the proposed subdivision cannot be physically designed, that no reasonable alternative exists, or it will create an unreasonable hardship without a corresponding public benefit to prohibit individual driveway access onto the local road. Also from the Johnston County Land Design Manual for 4 or more lots. Where no easement exists and where the parent tracts have direct road frontage, an easement shall not be allowed. The development must dedicate a right-of-way meeting the requirements of this section. A waiver may be allowed if determined by the planning board that in pursuit of this section, the hardship is created upon the property that provides no benefit to the safety, welfare, and quality of life to the public.
Mr. Morgan, I'm assuming, at least as it relates to the 500-foot of driveway separation, we're discussing
Lots.
Lots.
I can't see what mine-
18, 19.
The one up there.
Yeah, 18, 19, and 20. Okay. And from the easement standpoint, help me understand the comment there.
If it's got to have if they're direct road frontage, it would have to have a roadway meeting DOT standards.
Okay, but that, I'm assuming we're not talking about street A, C, or D?
No, that's correct.
Okay, so we still.
For those lots.
For those three lots?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
All right, very good. Any other questions of staff?
I have one question. It looks like that driveway they're proposing on Batten Farm Road is maybe 140 feet, 130 feet from Parish Memorial Church Road. Would that be something that Division of Highways would get and
Yeah,
okay, or do we even need to worry
they've
about
reviewed
that?
it. Their only comment was a driveway permit required. They will probably look at it further, site
Okay.
distance and everything, whenever driveway permit applications turn in.
I do have another question.
Ask all the questions you want.
Staff recommended denial due to less than 500 feet of driveway separation and dedicated right-of-way. We're talking, on that piece of denial, we're just talking about 18, 19, and 20?
That's correct.
Okay.
And would that be, is that the driveway right here on 19?
Looks like it.
Yeah, DOT would require a shared driveway for them.
Okay.
However, there would not be enough, there wouldn't be 500 feet between that one and the other one, or that one and Parish Memorial Road.
Yeah, that was my concern.
Again, DOT didn't make any comments about it, except that those would have to be shared for that one, not those two that are right next to each other.
There's a stop sign at Batten Farm and Parish Memorial.
I assume.
There is.
It's not a light or anything.
No,
No.
and it's a T.
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
that.
Could they not move that driveway entrance on down near the other end of Lot 3, because Lot 3 is so big, and do like we have approved other subdivisions in the last year, where one driveway comes in and then it kind of goes out in both directions to access some
That'd
of
be
them,
it.
6, 8 houses?
That'll be a question for Ethan when he comes up.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions of staff? Thanks, sir. Who'd like to be heard on behalf of Parish Memorial Road Tract?
Good evening, staff. Ethan Averitt, excuse me, 801 East Washington Street, Nashville, North Carolina, representing the developer and Stocks Engineering. Two notes I'll make real quick before we talk about those three lots. It is a little bit difficult to see, but we put mail kiosk at the end of the cul-de-sacs because there's less than 15 lots on each of these three sections. So they are shown there. And then there is 615 feet of between the right-of-ways of Street C and Street D. So there is the required separation there between those two streets. And then the thought for 18, 19, and 20 was, one, they each have, their primary frontage is going to be Batten Farm Road. So the houses would be built fronting Batten Farm. They could be accessed from, I guess, Street D, rear accessed. But our I guess first desire would be to have them all three lots share the one driveway, and come in and tee like was just mentioned, and they all share from that way just because they're going to front that way. But if the board desires to have them served in from the rear, I believe, Todd, they can have an easement off of Street D, a shared driveway easement from Street D because they have their primary frontage on Batten Farm, correct? Is that the way I understand it? Right, okay. But that was our first option, was since they're going to front Batten Farm, that they access from Batten Farm. And
Just
then,
so I'm
yes,
clear, you're proposing one shared driveway, looks
On
like
19.
on 19, that's going to serve 18,
correct.
19.
That will come in and split, yeah.
Okay.
And they would have an access easement at T, kind of like we've shown before, for those three lots.
Yeah.
And I'd be glad to answer any other questions or anything else that came up.
So how much distance is between the driveway and the stop sign?
I wish I could tell you a little closer. I believe
Looks like
it's
about
at least 150 feet, around 150
Yeah.
feet, yeah.
That's not a lot.
That's not a lot.
Well, how could you bring it in from the back? Just like hypothetically
Just be a
speaking.
very long shared driveway off of
Would
Street
come
D.
off of Street D in,
Like
where, in
between-
what lot?
Like 14,
Like
like 15
15,
and 16?
Between those? Could you not move it
It could-
down to the end of 3 and come in that way to come into all 3 of them?
Well, you'd have a driveway across the whole front of the lot of 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mean lot 20, I believe. The 3 is the soils, but yes, it could be slid down for sure. It would just be
Yeah, lot
coming
20.
across. Yeah, no, I understand. It would be coming across all 3.
19.
And it just, theoretically, it'd be nicer to have a T coming in. But yes, it could be slid away, especially if DOT's opinion was that it was too close to the intersection. There's obviously plenty of frontage there.
That's just that's very much my concern, is that's very close to the intersection. Especially a stop sign and not a stoplight.
Well, DOT standard
Yeah,
stem
they'll-
width's 100 foot.
They'll
From a
have to
stop
look,
sign?
they'll look at that.
Huh.
If you're doing an internal stem, like if you're turning into say a commercial development, before you can turn left, they want at least 100 feet.
100 foot.
So if you're more than 100 feet away from the intersection to serve 3 lots, I think that.
So it would be something that DOT would have to give their stamp of approval?
Yes, ma'am, for
Yes.
sure. But, and you said the distance was, I mean, it looks
I
like the
mean,
front
the
end.
front of 18 is 118 and
Right.
46 and 12, and so, yeah, I think it's about 150 feet to the center edge, yeah.
That doesn't give me a huge amount of concern. For 3 lots.
It's pretty low volume. Has there been any research done on the approximate cemetery location?
No, it has not been surveyed.
How are you
But-
gonna, what would be the plan with that if,
It would likely be to either cut out a small section of right-of-way we've done in the past that basically ties to the 2 corners to the right-of-way, or we could cut out the whole thing in a public access easement. But yeah, the goal would be to, I guess, option 1 would be to cut out a small section of access for those 2 corners to tie to the right-of-way.
does that property then get, I don't know how that would work, does that become if they find out who the owners of the cemetery are, that would have to be blocked out and owned by that family then, and they would have access to it?
Correct. Well, it already is its own parcel.
Oh,
It's a
I
tiny-
didn't,
yeah.
I didn't see any parcel lines on
right.
there, that's why I was asking.
Right, and it's very small, and it's just shown on the GIS. I don't see a deed or a record
Okay,
anywhere on it.
that's what
but
I was asking.
Yes, it is its own little rectangular lot, yeah, standalone. So if we could tie it to the right of way, that would be
Right.
option 1. Just give them direct
Thank you.
access.
Are there any like graves or anything on it now that you can tell, or no?
I believe there are a couple of headstones.
Makes a good Halloween decoration year round.
Yeah, it is its own parcel.
In their front yard. Yeah.
Be a tough sell on that property.
Yeah.
And it is no owner.
Mm-mm.
Okay, any other questions of the gentleman? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Anyone else like to be heard as it relates to Parish Memorial Road tract? All right, bring it back, Steph.
The staff recommendation was denial due to the driveway separation and lack of dedicated right-of-way, meeting the county's requirements for those 3 lots.
That's my concern as well.
So that while the driveway is kind of close up to the intersection, it would meet current DOT standards for separation between that and the intersection. If it were a commercial establishment or something else like that. I understand this is kind of wide open area, probably.
Well,
It's not.
it kind of depends on the amount of volume it's generating and there's a lot of things taken into consideration, but for 3 single parcels, I don't think the Department of Transportation will have a problem with that. If they do, they'll make it known to the engineer. I think the engineers made a good effort to access all the other parcels, and I think the Department of Transportation will make comment on that. I'd make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion approved by Mr. Lovering, a second by Ms. Howard. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right. Next, we will move on to the rezoning portion of tonight's hearing. Just to note that we serve as an advisory board to the Board of County Commissioners. All of these cases will be heard by them at their
October. First Monday in October. I know, me too.
October 7th meeting. So again, if you're here as it relates to either of the rezoning cases on tonight's agenda, please put October 7th on your calendar. That's when it will be heard by the Board of County Commissioners. The first one on our agenda tonight is case 2419.
Yes, sir. This is a straight rezoning to downzone. It's a petition to rezone 1.2 acre tract located at 9157 US Highway 301 South in elevation from community business special use district to agriculture residential. Owner and applicants Jeffrey and Tammy Hutchins. It's served by Wind Fire District 4 Oaks Rescue. Right now, it's zoned community business special use district and is approved for a real estate office and auction house. Surrounding land uses are all zoned agriculture, residential, and used for those purposes. Traffic count for this portion of US Highway 301 South is 3,900 vehicles per day, and that was in 2021, and it appears on the comprehensive transportation plan as a major thoroughfare with adequate design capacity. It's located within an agricultural area place type on the county's comprehensive land use plan. There were 4 notices sent out to adjacent property owners.
Thank you, sir. Any questions of staff? All right, who'd like to be heard on behalf of case 2419? Yes, ma'am. Give us your name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Tammy Hutchins. I'm the owner of the 9157. I'm just asking that the property, that particular acre and a half, be moved from community business to agriculture residential, please.
Any questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else like to be heard as it relates to case 2419? All right, bring it back to staff.
Staff recommendations approval.
All right, entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion for approval by Ms. Howard, a second by Mr. Sasser. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that'll go forward to the Board of County Commissioners as a recommendation for approval. Next on our agenda is case 24-20.
It is a petition to rezone 27.86 acre tract located at 2500 block of Thanksgiving Fire Road in the O'Neill Township from agriculture residential to general business conditional zoning. Owner is Black and Gray LLC, applicant's Lipscomb Development. Conditional zoning request is multiple general business uses, and it's listed in the body of the narrative. Served by North Side Fire District and Thanksgiving Rescue. It's existing as zoned agriculture residential and is vacant land. Surrounding land use is zoned agriculture residential and used for those purposes. Also a fire station, zoned general business special use district, and is approved as a Dollar General and a storage facility, zoned general business, and is going to be a hardware store and a storage facility. Traffic count for this portion of Thanksgiving Fire Road is 900 vehicles per day in 2019, and does not appear on the comprehensive transportation plan as needing improvement. This area is located within a designated rural crossroads future land use type. It denotes an area in which state roads meet other major roads in rural areas. Uses typically include convenience, retail, food outlets, restaurants, etc. There were 5 notices sent out, and you may remember this. It came in as a general business, and you voted on it in May of this year to approve for straight general business. Before it got to the Board of County Commissioners, they opted to come back as a conditional zoning. That's about all I have on it.
Do you know what roadway improvements have been required by NCDOT for the adjacent commercial?
There is a traffic circle, I believe, coming in at that location.
There is one at 42 in Thanksgiving Fire for sure.
Yes.
I'm wondering in terms of turn lanes and things.
They didn't say anything on this. They will look at it whenever the site plan comes in.
Okay.
Also.
But in terms of the previously approved rezoning with the hardware store,
Yeah, I'm not aware of any that's going on right now. Do you know if that's?
okay. Any questions of staff? Thank you, sir. Who'd like to be heard on behalf of case 24-20?
Good evening. I'm Emily Bedingfield with Lipscomb Development, 334 East Main Street in Clayton. I guess real quick to address your question about additional improvements. There is a right-in turn lane being installed as part of the hardware and site to the south. That was mandated by DOT and is being installed as part of that development.
So no left turn south. I guess that would be southbound left.
Correct. Yeah, we looked at that because we did a TIA for that site and it didn't trigger any requirements.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so of course, as staff mentioned, this came to you guys back in May. You recommended approval for a straight rezoning. As it made its way towards the commissioners in conversations, I think they just wanted to sort of narrow it down a little bit. Our vision for this site hasn't really changed at all since we brought the concept of a commercial site here. It kind of lends itself well to a connection point to that property to the south. A lot of it's going to be set aside for septic and is already being used as septic soils for that property to the south that has the Hudson's hardware. Our intent will be to modify eventually that site plan to provide a connection point to this one, assuming it is approved, and just continue to provide that nice circulation and reduce the number of turns in as people travel from one business to the next within the development itself. Looking at the back of the property, again, there's so much residential growth in this area, and there's always a desire for nice internal and external storage areas for all of these people who have boats or RVs and need that interior storage. So this area in the back would be well set back, well screened. We have added in some additional buffering by way of this conditional zoning request and this plan. We've built in some flexibility and are working closely with the neighbor to the north to provide additional screening as needed. There's a lot of hardwoods in that area, so we'd be adding in some evergreens to make sure that we're providing some good visuals. We always want to be good neighbors when we do a project, and this is no difference. I think, again, the site just has lended itself really well to this configuration, and We look forward to continuing the work that's being done at that intersection. There's been a lot of excitement about that, so this would be more of the same. That example of architecture that you see, that's generally what's been designed for the property to the south, and we would continue that on to the north, so it would be a very consistent, cohesive development project. And I'm happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
Thank you. Any questions?
I have a
So-
question. Go for it.
So you did say you are gonna try to provide internal access across into the other businesses?
Yes, sir, that is our intent. As that the site plan to the south
Right.
hasn't been modified yet, I didn't want to show that connection because that hasn't been approved, but that would be something we fully intend to come back and do. We would see that secondary driveway as being secondary, knowing that there's that nice right-in turn lane into where the hardware store is going.
When you
A lot
say
of
right
people-
in, you mean right in and right out, that there's actually a median on Thanksgiving
Oh,
Road?
no, sir, I just mean a deceleration lane to turn into.
All right. It really would've been nice to line that up with Carroll Road.
There's a cemetery there.
Yeah, I see
It would have been
that.
nice.
I
I
see
know.
I see there's a.
We thought the
cemetery.
same thing. And also at that location, the line of sight is not great because you're on the inside of a
Yeah.
turn. So the visibility just isn't great to put a intersection there as well as having that cemetery. So it just, again, it was self-limiting.
It's just me trying to minimize the amount of access points and
Oh, we agree. That was the very first thing we looked at.
conflict points.
So they'll turn in right there, and then you've got the two commercial ones like what you see in the picture, and then go behind that to access the storage buildings, right?
That's right.
Okay.
How much of the possible septic area on the west side of the storage buildings will remain wooded? Will that be clear cut? What's the plan there?
It would probably be cleared out to just make it look nice. We would leave as much wooded as possible is generally the intent because it costs a lot of money to cut down trees. What we try to do is we look at the soils. We work with our soil scientist to kind of determine the minimum amount that we need to clear out and then go into our samples. And we're always minimizing our septic areas as much as possible.
Right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Other questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anyone else like to be heard as it relates to case 2420? All right, bring it back to staff.
Staff recommendations approval based on the consistency statement.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Mr. Lovering, a second by Mr. Crenshaw. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that'll go forward to Board of County Commissioners as a recommendation for approval. Anything else for us this evening,
Yes,
sir?
we have 5 written decisions from last month's meeting. I got hard copies for you. Everybody else's is in their packet.
Thanks, and thanks for sending me that full packet too via email. I went checking email last week, you know.
Which one were we doing first?
First, we're gonna do Ricky Norris track. We'll review this. All right. Ricky Norris track first. I'll entertain a motion when you're ready.
You need a motion for the written.
Yes, for
Decision.
approval of the written decision.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right, motion for approval by Ms. Howard, second by Mr. Sasser. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, next we'll do Steel Bridge Road subdivision.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved by Ms. Davis, a second by Mr. Crenshaw. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, next is Earpsboro 1C.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to be approved by Mr. Lovering, a second by Mr. Sasser. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, next, Crocker Station.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Mr. Lovering, second by Mr. Crenshaw. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Finally, Parker's Landing Phase 2.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved by Mr. Lovering, second by Mr. Sasser. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Next meeting, September 17th.
Yes, sir. Anything else? All right. Thank y'all. Appreciate everybody being here.